Okay.
I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. Welcome to our special meeting on March the 12th. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we have the resolution to live stream the meeting.
Moved by Maureen McMillan, second by Harold Levine, whereas council values transparency and public access, and whereas the March 12th, 2026 special meeting is of significant public interest. Now therefore be it resolved that the March 12th, 2026 special meeting be live streamed on the township's official YouTube channel.
All those in favor? Carried. And could we have the approval of the agenda?
Moved by Carl Keel, second by Ted Brown. Be it resolved that Council for the Township of Killaloe, Higby, and Richards hereby adopts the agenda for the special meeting of March 12th, 2026 as presented.
All those in favor? Carried. And now I'd like to read our First Nations land acknowledgement. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of this committee and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. And please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Does anyone have any pecuniary or financial interest to declare? Having seen none, we have no delegations and a motion for minutes of the special meeting of February 26th, open session.
Moved by Harold Levine, second by Ted Brown. Motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of February 26th, 2026, open session.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Carried. And now we will attack our number 7, the unfinished business. Before we get into the vetoes, just the point of concern that I had raised at the last meeting which is on the last page of the booklet I passed out. I believe our CAO was going to look at that.
Okay, so I did look at the whole veto budget as a whole, including the last page.
There's 3. I don't have one.
You have so I'm asking that council receive this report as information. So I just wanted to give some background on just to update everybody on Mayor Mayville's vetoes. So Mayor Mayville has stated in his veto that as it relates to revenue, staff are directed to remove the 1% tax increase of $33,315 and add in the OCIF amounts of $215,690 as well as the gas tax of $862. He also mentioned that staff were not authorized to remove the $862 as part of the council amendments. However, this is incorrect as the removal of the $862 was approved within the resolution dated February 10th, 2026. As it relates to the expenses, the mayor directed that the $20,000 consulting fee, the 500 donations, the $127,200 for Zumac, James, Annie, and the $41,000 for the greater refurbishment cost be added to the budget, and that the $100,000 for the station park wall be removed. The mayor also indicated that the inside and outside projects for the Round Lake Fire Hall be added to the budget in the amount of $70,000 and that this expense will be funded through the Fire Capital Reserve. And lastly, as part of the mayor's veto, he has indicated that he has a point of concern as it relates to the water and sewer, stating that there's a difference of $1,500 after the transfer from reserves with regard to the sewer and a $61,839 difference after a transfer from reserves as it relates to water. So discussions and findings. The following is a staff breakdown of the mayor's vetoes as it pertains to the roads. So Masks, Pekoski, and Zumac, James, and Annie total $580,000. The OCIF and gas tax, according to the mayor's veto, total $669,384. I just wanted to let council know that the roads and OCIF and gas tax must balance each other out. As per the mayor's veto, they do not, and the revenues are over in the amount of $89,352. As it relates to the fire reserves, Mayor Mabel has indicated that he would like to use the fire reserves for the following projects. So both the inside and the outside of the fire hall in Round Lake for a total of $70,000. I just wanted to have council be aware that the fire reserves total is $123,375.64. And if you take out the capital fire reserves, that's leaving the fire capital reserve at $53,375.64. That's just for information. As per Mayor Mayville's veto, he has indicated that $425,181 be taken out of reserves to balance the budget, and an additional $70,000 for the fire department inside and outside projects be taken out of the fire reserve. In total, $495,181 is to be taken out of reserves, plus the additional revenue overage of $89,352 leaves the mayor's veto budget at a deficit of $584,533. Council's deficit, as per the February 27th amendment budget, was $519,718. As it relates to the mayor's point of concern pertaining to the water and sewer not zeroing out, I wanted to advise that they do balance, and the following is the breakdown showing the respective accounts. I'm not going to go through the whole accounts. However, you can see the sewer revenues equal $242,675, and so do the expenses. And the same goes for the water. The water the total is $240,155, and they both offset themselves. So as it relates to the road projects and funding for the following is for council consideration when discussing the amendments. Should you wish to keep Zumat, James, and Annie, again, the OCIF and gas tax should balance with the roads projects. So as you can see, I have equaled them out. So the amount used from OCIF would be $496,032, and gas tax would be at $84,000, which totals the $580,032 for the road projects. And I'm giving this report being provided as supporting information for informed decision making.
Thank you. That's great. Oh, wait. What do you wish to do? Go through each one individually, starting A and go B, etc. Or how would you do this? I think it makes sense for us to just go through your document that you handed out on March 3rd, I guess it is, and look at your amendments one at a time. I don't see that you have them all listed out in one spot, do you? No, they just go down. So, well, we can just do it this way. First of all, we need to correct the OCIF and take out that 89,000. Like you put in the full amount, 235, I think it is, of the OCIF fund. No,
The full amount of both.
Full amount of both. Mm-hmm. And do you understand that can only be spent on roads? So if whatever our roads cost, that's how much of the OCIF we can put in. So you added in a road that costs $127,200. That's the only amount of OCIF we can put in. Do you understand that? Well, but I don't. Okay. So the reason is, if you look at last year's, when we prepare the budget, full amount stays in the budget. So if we look at last year along the same line, it was $305,000, and that's what we received in OCIF money. So when at that time, that's the amount that's put in. There was
So that's the amount that gets put in, and that stays there till the year end when Will does his whatever. But we only put that amount in up to the
amount that the roads are expected to cost.
Okay, last year was what, $180,000 or something to that effect? We did
Last
two.
year, roads didn't cost us a lot less, and so at the end of the year during the process,
Right.
build back out.
Right, and
So if our
that's,
roads are gonna cost us 580, we can only put 580 in.
but when we did the budget, we kept the and I'm comparing it to last year, 305, we kept that in. We didn't decrease that amount. We never, in the expense side, the amount that was budgeted that Dean had given us, let's for convenience sake, was 200,000, what he said it was going to cost us. We never altered the revenue side to balance. We kept it the same for the entire year. Now we're just talking budget. We're not talking anything to do with actuals, okay? So the budget amount, whatever the amount is at the start, we keep that till the end. And then when Will does his thing, he backs it out. It goes to capital. And I'm talking mainly the actual. So if you use last year as an example and the other years prior to, we've never.
I don't have those numbers in front of me, but
We'll just look at last year's.
as I said, I don't have those numbers.
Oh.
I do. Okay, let's pull it out and.
You
yeah.
don't have the road budget in there.
Last year, the OCF was 305 and the transfer from gas was 78. So that was, just turn to page 13.
383 in total.
The road capital was 384.
And the expected road projects in the budget cost.
I want to say around 200,000. He didn't use the 384 as his estimate.
Well, if that's the case, then that was an accident on staff part for putting that in, because we're not to put that in.
Okay, then let's go back to 2024 and 2023. We've never done that before.
It gives but it gives a false picture of what our budget looks like, because we're including $90,000 or $89,000 of revenue in there that we know we can't use. We're not going to be able to use it. And so it's really just inflating our revenue to make it look like we're in a better position than we are.
And I know I hate saying this, but this is the way we've always done it.
Yeah. Well,
So
I don't think we can do that, because it just inflates our revenue. So if this is just the first time we're catching that we were doing it in the past wrong, then we need to correct it. Because do you see how leaving that $90,000 in there changes the entire picture? It makes it look like we're only going to take so much out of reserve, but that's not the truth, because that money can't be used for anything except infrastructure projects.
I'm only referring to what we've always done in the past.
Yep.
So if we do this, well, it's council's decision, but if this happens, then what's the difference? Again,
$89,000 in change.
89,352. So that has to be taken out of revenue.
Correct.
That's correct.
But where does the 89,000 go?
It stays in the OCIF reserve for us to spend on future projects. Future allowable projects.
So
And
right,
same with the gas tax.
so you're saying you don't want to use the gas tax either? What are you saying?
I'm only talking about the, I don't know about the gas tax. I'm just was focusing on the OCIF overpayment. Tammy, can you answer that?
Um,
Do we use all of the gas tax?
no, so that 864 I mean, you can, it's up to council, but I gave you a scenario at my, in my report that you could, use $496.32 for OCIF and, gas tax 84,000, which totals 580.32.
So the suggestion here is to do the 3 road. Is to do the Mass, Pekoski, Zemek, James and Annie. So
Yeah.
is that something we would like to entertain?
I would. I would. I just drove down the street for the first time in a long time. And it's bad. It's really bad.
And forget,
Summit isn't too bad. James is worse, but Annie's horrible.
I've long spoken out against doing it, and I'm happy to step down, and we can do that if council wants to. I mean, it won't hit our tax rate at all because it's completely financed out of the OCIF money.
Yeah.
Which is Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund for anyone listening to us,
And
which is money that the province gives us to do infrastructure.
so just so council's aware, right now, we have a balance of $309,000 in OCIF. And if we're gonna add, what was it, 89,000? So that's gonna put us just a shade of $400,000 in our reserve, which technically the OCIF can be used for roads, bridges.
Yeah, there's a list of things that it can be
Roads,
used for.
bridges, was it culverts too?
Correct.
Right,
So,
water main,
Mhm.
sewer mains, like sewer pipes, those are the things that we're saving our money for.
so just so everyone knows, we're gonna have that much money in the reserve.
And we're gonna get 3 roads done. That sounds like financial planning to me.
And I'll agree to disagree with the 89,000, but can we verify that from maybe from Will? That's what we've done in the past, or that's what our accounting practices are, because just because we've never done it before, you know what I mean? Like, it's new. And
Yeah.
and I hate saying this, we've never done this before, because that's an awful thing to say, because we all want change, right? So. Brian?
Just looking at the roads there, at Zamak Road, Annie and James, I recall that Dean had some comments on that. And I forget what he said. Does anybody remember what he was saying about that strip there? There was extra work.
With all the manholes and stuff in it, and which was much more work than the normal road would have.
Okay,
With all the drain offs and.
so does that mean it would change that estimate? Or
No,
what?
that's why it's higher. If we only did those 3 roads and didn't have to worry about those, was it a culvert and?
Sewer drains, catch basin.
Yeah.
I
If we
think
didn't
there's
have to
5
do
of
that,
them on road.
the amount would have been much less than his estimate.
I couldn't remember that.
Like he jacked it up because of that.
Okay.
And he did mention that again, that the road was scheduled to be in 2014.
Yeah. And I'd also like to say that these numbers, that road estimates are less than they were in the previous year because that's our experience. So like the past 2 years, our roads came in way under what we expected them to be. Adjusted his his estimating based on more current prices. So we shouldn't see a huge surplus there.
So I get, so how do you want to do this, Tammy? So we want to vote each one? How do you want to do this?
I think this is really us. Like, the 6 counts around the table get to,
Well, 7 counselors. I am a counselor.
yeah. You are, but this is our meeting to look at your budget and make a decision based on yours.
I get the 7th vote. How do you,
No, we don't.
Not at this.
Not at this.
how do you want to do it? Or what is the suggestion of doing
Well, I just suggest council.
I think we're just gonna go through it one by one.
through each one
Yeah.
at a time?
Which ones they want to amend.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there any other questions on number B?
How do other people find, do they want to do Summit James Annie?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea if we can do it with the money that's there.
And then there's still a little bit left, and I
Not
think,
adding anything extra to the budgets.
Yeah.
We should do it, I think.
yeah,
So there's 84,000 left. And that's gonna go to your OCIF reserve,
Reserve.
which will be the shade under 400,000. So is there any other questions on that one?
C, gas tax.
Tammy did something on the gas tax one, right?
Yeah, so the last amendment, council gave staff, the direction to amend both the OCIF and the gas tax to reflect the two roads at that time. What we did was, we had gas tax, in the budget at 84,000. So that 862, I believe it was went back to the gas tax reserve. And we put in for the OCI, I can't remember the number we put in for the OCIF. For that, but we did amend both of those. So my recommendation is, if council wants, the, OCIF using it this year, $496.32 and the gas tax at 84,000, which then the remainder of the OCIF would go into the OCIF reserve and the remainder of the gas tax would go into the reserve.
That sounds good.
So I-
I listed that was because there was a difference in the two amounts, that's all.
Yep. Okay, so the next expense is D. That has to do with the consulting fees, $20,000 for HR consulting fees. Tammy, I'd like to hear what your thought is on, I know that we've been working through a process. I'll let you finish writing first.
Okay.
We've been working through a process of updating and redoing the job descriptions. We're going to get them rated by the township. What's the next step after that? You know that we've planned to do some kind of a salary review. How are we going to achieve that?
Well, that's when I had suggested getting an HR review done.
At that point.
At that point, yes.
So, and should we put this $20,000 back in the budget so that the money is there when we need it? Okay. Look at us, just been agreeing with all your amendments, one.
So that wouldn't be an amendment though, because the mayor has put it right in, right?
Right.
So the only amendment right now that I have is to amend the OCIF to $496,032 and amend the gas tax at 84.
Yeah.
Okay.
E, Canadian homegrown community radio, yes, I think we all agree we can put that $500 back in the budget. Yes?
yep,
F,
You can do F, G, and H altogether.
that's redoing the, essentially that's about doing the
Right.
cosmetic upgrades to the Crown Lake Fire Hall.
Inside and outside.
Okay, what do people think?
I'm not comfortable taking our fire reserve down to $53,000 because we talk every year about needing a pumper, but I forget what the value of those are, like 700,000-800,000. A million. I was under the assumption that reserve was supposed to be being built up. Planning for the future for that, and I think these repairs are cosmetic and not essential right now. And I'd like to see them wait, and I'd like to see us put more time and effort to saving up for a pumper.
yeah. I agree.
In defense, we're spending $20,000 for the pumper to be fixed, which should give us a longer usage. Instead, you know, how we've always talked, we need to replace the pumper, we need to replace it So we've decided to spend the 20,000, which is in the budget. And the capital is to go through for capital projects for the fire department. And this more than meets the requirements for a capital project. And in order to save the pumper, it's going to be just like what, you know, I hear often the comment, geez, I wish we would have done the roads yard when we did the fire department. And like every year it keeps being brought up over and over again. I hate to see us do this again next year, the year after, and it keeps going until it totally deteriorates. Whereas we have the money right now, we have the reserve, and it's a capital reserve. It's not going to impact any of our tax rates.
I think this money looks like a lot of money, but if you're taking out $70,000, we're left with $50,000 account, and I don't like that. I like to prepare for the future, and I don't think that's a good way to prepare for the future. Because we don't have a lot of extra, we don't have tons of extra reserves to pay for big things like, you know, when things go wrong, so
Well,
I'd like to keep that money in there.
A good example is wildfire last year.
Yeah.
It happened again this year, the way the weather is.
But that's not a capital. That gets out of our actual expense.
Well, I don't know, I talked to Will about it, I understand it. That money is for fire department stuff only. If we have $100,000 bill for a wildfire, why could it not come into that?
Cost 79,454, and it's our actual column for 2025. He hasn't capitalized that. Doesn't get capitalized. That's time and labor of staff.
From my perspective, we're taking a gamble that it's $20,000 we're spending to refurbish our old truck that's, you know, clearly close to the end of its line. It's just that, it's kind of putting lipstick on the, I shouldn't say that, you know, but who knows how long it's gonna
I
last.
wasn't here for that meeting. Which truck is it that's being fixed?
Pumper.
Dual pumper.
The Killaloo pumper?
Yes.
Or one.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know which one it was.
I can't say.
Yeah, because if it's $20,000 going into the Killaloo pumper, that truck's only 15 years old. So that's new for a fire truck. It's don't get used, so
I'm not sure, Ted, which one he said.
yeah.
I believe it's
the
the other.
truck sooner than later.
Mhm.
It's better off for a truck than paint.
Yeah,
Would you have to compromise as what we had done originally? Do one this year and one next year.
What do you mean do one this year and one next year?
Inside or out.
Inside or outside? Okay.
I'd hate to get in the habit of just delaying this, that's all.
yeah, but you took the wall out of here, and the wall is like, to me, more essential than.
Well, we're not to the wall.
fire
We're
reserve.
not
I
to
know,
the-
but we will be.
We're not there
We
yet.
will be,
just-
so you can't use that as a comparison though,
Just-
because you can't say this, but oh, I'm gonna take the wall, like, you understand.
We're gonna cross everything as we.
No, I know,
So-
it's it's a contradiction.
So the thing that Bob did say, that even though that we're, what was it, 20,000 for the inside? I think,
Yes.
he said he had talked to staff workers or his firemen, and that they were gonna do a lot of it inside work. Was it 10 and 10?
Mm-hmm.
10 labor, 10 outside, or 10 internal? So that's a savings, and that might be high, I don't know. And I don't know the extent of work he was gonna do inside. It is an evacuation center, and if he feels that it is important, then I think we have to give him some too, that he feels that, we need to support that.
He has a little fire hall that's sitting right here.
That's not an evacuation center,
Well,
unless you change it.
maybe we should change it, because we have a beautiful fire hall right here that's in perfect condition.
You're gonna
Why don't we
pictures,
change
it's got
it?
Everything. You know,
Like, why aren't we looking at changing
The
evacuation?
reason that was put is just where it is.
Balance.
So if there was a major catastrophe in the Kildoot area, we're hoping that place is good.
Uh-huh.
If it's not out there, we're hoping the Kildoot fire hall is good.
They're both essentially evacuation centers.
Not sure if it is in the books, but
In Kildo, there's other buildings.
Okay,
When it comes time, it'd be used if it had to be, so.
yeah.
yeah,
We're already on a mute point.
but it's gonna be used whether it's like, I mean, if you're in an emergency, it's like Bill said, if it's an emergency, are you really care the walls are painted?
Exactly.
So that was our discussion the last time.
I agree with Maureen. I don't feel comfortable with reserves, the fire reserves dropping that low, and I hear what Dave's saying about the capital. But like Ted says, we have a fire, well, that doesn't come under, but all of our equipment's being used there, and now all of a sudden, we're gonna need something repaired. So it does actually come under.
Mhm.
Well, in those big forest fires like that, you can lose $15,000 or second.
Yeah,
So like, I don't, myself, I don't feel comfortable going that low on the fire reserves. I think the way we had it was good. So.
yeah,
Generally, I feel I don't want to be draining our reserves, any of them, for things that aren't essential, because we all know that we have a infrastructure that's on the verge of crumbling. In lots of different parts of the municipality, whether it's vehicles or this building has problems with it. Our water mains are a potential for having a problem there. I'm the one who likes to have mattresses stuffed with money for emergency.
yeah.
So
So are we all in favor? That would be a veto? Yes, okay, so that's,
So an amendment is to move the 70,000.
yes,
I have already added I back into the budget. We've added stomach change penny back into the budget. So now we come up to J and K, which K removed the wall and J added in the refurbishment of the grader. My recollection of our conversation when we did that is that the wall is in worse shape. That we've already had an injury because of that wall. That it's we hear our asset manager tell us that it's in danger of coming down, and it really needs to be done. And then we also heard our roads department head Dean say that the grader is likely to last another year or more than that without any problems. We put a lot of money into it, and we have a good balance in our repair budget for that machine. So it's like, which one is worse? They're both. If we had the money, I'd do both of them.
Mhm.
We don't have the money, so which one is the worst? That's how we got to the decision.
yeah.
I don't know what people think now.
Well, I still personally prioritize the wall because we've been talking wall for 4 years now. And there's been an injury on it. I think it's a health and safety risk. And I think it would be nice to get that done. It's a big. I'd like to do one bigger infrastructure project every year, and that's a big one. And we don't, and like we said, we don't know if it's gonna cost that full amount because there are other options, like Carl's talked the rock. You know, there's different options to fix, but we don't actually know that that's the figure.
But the thing is, we don't know what the figure is. With the dock in Round Lake and the ramp, we know Kim did that legwork and got us the number 175,000. So we have a good idea. Yes, might cost more. Yes. We've been talking about this wall for 4 years. Where were all you guys the first year when I brought it up? And now, and our second year we brought it up, that's when the accident happened, when the individual stumbled, probably is a better word. But we don't have a plan for the wall. We don't have an estimate. And it's been,
Well, I think if we,
Forget the
if I
4
think
years.
if we give him the green light, he can go out and get some temps to fix
Yeah,
that
but
wall, we can get it fixed.
we're doing our budget now.
Yeah.
He's had ample time.
He has, Dale has given us an estimate based on like the $100,000 based on the length of the wall and replacing it. He said that. We asked him when he was in here. Whenever that was, back in January or.
The wall is no different than roads. We have these roads in here. But that's just a guess. That's right. The tenders haven't gone out, they might come back way over, way under.
Right.
The wall was the same, so you saying. You're comparing the roads to the wall, you can't because they're the same thing. They almost told us $100,000, that's what we have to go on.
I think we all agree that the real unknown is the Round Lake ramp. And luckily we're the council's deciding to leave more money in our infrastructure fund and more money in our reserves all over to cover that if it happens, but here's where we are. Dave, say again why you think that the grader is more important than the wall.
When we sat down as with the staff, the very first meeting, that's one of the first things that Dean said. The grader's going. It may have a year or two life expectancy or till it needs to be redone. And that's why I've been pounding on this, because that's one of the first things that he said. And you know how you always thing that comes first, you always remember the most. That's the first thing he said. And yes, he might say it be a year or two, give or take. But what happens if it cocks up? And we could have had it this year. Like $41,000. I think that's the number.
No, that's
41,000
per year.
yeah,
It's
right. 41,000 per
what's the
year.
total on the grader though.
Well,
That was it 700 and some
That's only two payments.
2 payments.
41,000
per year
is two payments.
payments only.
And we pay you would have to pay 4 times a year.
The total refurbishment I thought was in the neighborhood of
350, 360,
$350,000.
something like that. But
Yeah.
we're dealing with this year's budget. $41,000 out of this year's budget.
Yeah, but I don't think, so the grader is, Dean says we might get another year, we might get another 5 before it needs to be refurbished, and that's a lot of money. In 5 years, you could save. That's my guess. Like, you don't know, the grader's still running fine, like it's not, and we do put in for, and I know Dean has put money in his budget for repairs on the grader and on all of his machines. That's what happens with equipment, when you use it, you have to put repairs, but you don't have to refurbish a grader that's how normally. We got 1 years coming out of that machine, I think.
How many years have we had that? I think I remember him saying, I can't remember though, what the number was. 14? So.
12 years.
10 years,
12 years.
12 years.
12 years old, that's not overstated, for anything like that. It gets repairs done every year, which is normal for equipment. Anybody that's worked on equipment knows with breakdowns, you gotta put money into it every year. But I'm saying, I think we might get 5 years before we have to spend this 200,000 on a refurbishing. And then you refurbishing.
But in 5 years, it could be 400,000, 500,000. You know,
I don't think there's any right answer. You know, I mean, it's just our best guess of what's the most important thing to do. We can't do both of them. Yeah.
Well, when Dean's here and talked to us, he seemed pretty comfortable saying it could wait. That's what we all got.
I asked him specifically.
Yes. So we all remember that conversation, so. Anyway, my post is to get rid of the grader for this year and keep the wall. I'd like to see the wall get fixed.
Something never happened at the wall, will cost us a lot more than $100,000.
Yeah,
It's that bad.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I want the wall done, believe me.
mhm.
It's something that this municipality
Anyway,
needs.
you three, how do you feel?
And
You agree?
I'd say the wall.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd already say that.
okay, Brian, you agree?
I don't wanna put money in grader at this point, so
Okay,
if that's our other choice, I guess. It's
Okay,
wall.
so
I'm
that would
not
be-
sure on the wall either if how much it
yeah,
really needs it.
it does need to be fixed.
But there's one thing I do not agree on with that wall,
What's that?
pouring cement. It's.
Well, then I think
We got to have a good meeting on,
maybe Dale should be directed to look at some options that. should
I'd
be
say
back-
the cornerstone.
Yes,
And cement and everything, you're gonna have to put footings in, rebar,
Yeah.
It's gonna crack.
but we could ask for some options for that wall, replace.
I'd say armor stone. Personally, you don't need footings or
We're
nothing.
gonna retire soon, maybe.
I don't care. I'll come give you, harp at you after that.
I'm suggesting that we don't do either. Is there any appetite for that?
let's see what we have as a total. Tammy, can you figure that out?
What do you mean as a total? So right now we'll see that amending. And amending the gas tax and remove 70,000 from the fire reserve for the fire project.
We don't have, it's been that in since that's.
No? No, that's already in there. Yep, the mayor's already put that in. Oh, no, that's right. Yep.
Sorry, I'm not supposed to speak, but.
But thank you.
Double check.
So we were at 95. Was on the last page.
But it depends on what was on in the budget. I don't know, like if you wanted to do because it's not, we're just amending the OCIF and the gas tax to reflect in the budget, and then that remove the $70,000, correct?
What I'm trying to do is get to a number. Where we're at. So we have to take the grader out. If we're taking the grader,
That wasn't a minute, yeah,
no, but it's in the bottom line.
that's right, yep.
Yeah, so I'm trying to calculate that, a new bottom line.
So we're looking at your veto budget. With the once we remove the $89,000 of OCIF, leaves you at 584. Correct? Once we do that,
495 plus 89. Right?
yes,
So
Okay.
584.
584. And from that, we are,
And so, okay, just to go through this, Bill, just give me one, some, a little bit slow. I've been meeting all day.
so say,
So the 215, that's in there. We don't have to worry about that. The 862 has to come out of the revenue. The 70,000 is coming out of expenses.
so with 70,000 coming out of expenses, does that put his 584 down by $70,000? So down to
Yeah.
514?
Mhm.
So I'm trying to now. The
Yeah.
500 stays in. That's. We don't do anything with the 127 because that's
It's already leaving
it's
it.
all right then.
That's already passed.
The 41,000 comes out of
Yeah.
expenses.
That is amendment of council,
To remove the
Or-
grader,
yes?
Do we want to know the number first before we take anything else out?
I don't think we do the grader, we decided not to do the grader.
So remove the grader.
We're
Yeah.
at 513 and then take 41 out of that.
So 483.
So that gives us 111, take out of expenses. And to take out revenue is.
Or
11.
73.
So we're decreasing revenue by 90,214. And we're taking out of expenses. 111,000. Who's got a machine? Add it.
Not at 8 o'clock at night. My brain doesn't.
Okay, this is up to you to add.
Oh, yeah, 470. Yeah, 470.
So we start with 495. We take out 111 and we add back in. Right?
No,
No,
Did I reverse that?
I can't.
so
Okay,
your total number was 584, 533. We've taken out the.
No, stop. My original number was 495, 181.
Yeah, but you didn't include the, yes,
But even though it's still, even though you're using the fire reserve, it still comes out of the reserves.
It wasn't put in as expense, was it?
Yes.
It was put in as expense.
Yeah.
Okay. But not out of the reserve.
Not a point, because you wanted to see the bottom line.
okay, so we're at 584, 533. We take $70,000 out of that. And that leaves us 514, 533. I'm gonna stop using those 533s. And then what else?
you're taking out the 41,000 for the grader.
So 41 is 14 and 27 is so that's 473. That gets down to 473,000.
Then we're adding in a wall,
We're adding in a wall for
100.
100, so that's 73. That's where we are.
I think
So
so.
where we're at.
Okay,
And what are you doing with the tax rate?
That's the last part of this.
So just to recap, OCF and gas tax to be amended, I'm removing the $70,000 for the. Removing 41,000 of the greater refurbishment, and I'm adding back in the 100,000 for the station park wall.
what about the $20,000 for the HR review?
It's already in there and we didn't say to take it out, so.
Oh, okay. What was our original
What was your number, Bill?
573?
I ended up with 15.
I like your number better. I must have missed something. How long do we have to make this final amendment? Is this today?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Because there's no other time periods.
Mhm.
So I think. I think it is number. I know I got a different number again. 73.
473 at the wall, and then you put the
Without
wall
the
and then
wall.
goes up to 573.
573.
Over 73.
So we got 70 out. 70 for the fire department, 41 for the grader.
So that would put us at 575.
What do you think? 573,
Yeah.
533.
Yeah,
Yes,
573.
that's the number I got.
Yeah.
Where were we with our with our first budget, our first amended budget.
I believe you were at 519. 519, 718.
Mhm.
So we've added in $53,000 of Dave projects essentially. Number, how are you with it?
We've got to decide on tax increase.
Yeah,
What happens if you lower the wall estimate to 50,000 or 75,000? What happens if you lower it from 100,000?
We'll be able to do half a wall.
our staff told us the estimate was $100,000.
Great Wall of China.
So then if we go back to our tax rate of increase of 3.5%, which is just a little bit higher than inflation, then we get down to 540.
Let me ask you this, what's the difference between 40 and 575? Because you're only talking $33,000 for 1%. That's what 1% equals, $33,000. And what's the difference between 575 and 545, other than $30,000? Or 33,000?
$30,000 is a
Yeah,
lot of
the
money.
difference.
So are you saying we
That's
should
our
go to
playground.
4%?
Sorry,
You saying we should go with 4% or what? What's your?
no, I'm still with my recommendation is 2.5.
Let's go backwards.
Going backwards? So,
Wow. Okay, just wait till next year and you'll see. We've done it before.
But
I'm saying 3.5. What does that give us?
that brings it down to 540 from 573.
Yes, that's what you said before.
but my question was, what's the difference between 570 and 5?
Money.
$30,000, that's your
$30,000.
playground, that's almost the cost of the grader, fixing the grader this year, like, it is significant. In township dollars, it is significant.
I'm good with 3.5.
So
Now, which is what we had
Which was our
agreed
original,
upon before.
just before we go on, Tim, can you just explain the water revenue and expenses? I'm looking at it, it equals, but on the budget, it doesn't equal. So I'm just wondering where the differences are.
Those are the accounts, and then that are reflected in my report that zero each other out. The accounts that are not mentioned in there are offset by special area rate.
So you only take hydro and the aqua contract out.
Correct.
When Bill did his. We're just having a conversation, just give me a second, okay? When Will did his takeaway. When he zeroed everything out.
Yeah, and Will did verify my numbers.
No,
Yeah.
that's fine. He wiped out the accounts. When he capitalized everything, he wiped out all of the. Trying to find out the ledger that he did that in. He had a ledger that he wiped out all of the numbers. That's what I took as. We were not in balance. But you're saying. The hydro and the aqua balances the revenue. Everything else will go to the. Special area. So, having said that, that special area reserve being put into the revenues. To balance the expense.
The special area rate is in there. It's over and above the expense of the water.
So we took out 12,000 from the reserves. Already. The balance. Right? And you're leaving roughly the difference as listed as expense.
So this is the meeting to do our vetoes. I don't think this conversation maybe needs to happen right here. I think we should move on with our tax increase and be done. Personally, with the water issue, I understand you have an ongoing issue with the water and that, so.
But it does reflect on the reserve. If this number comes out of the reserves, that lowers number in your reserve.
Can you please speak to this?
That's why we're discussing this,
Yeah,
because that's why it is important.
I believe it's important. I agree with you that it's.
Yeah.
important, and I believe that Will, our auditor, has done it properly.
Because I know what he does for the actual. But I don't care what he does for the actual. I'm more concerned about what the budget shows. And I think, as I said, I think budget numbers are inflated.
you think the budget numbers are inflated?
Maybe not the right word, inflated, but they should be taken care of by a reserve to balance it. That's what I'm not seeing.
The reserve is already in there.
We put 12,000 in.
Yeah,
The entire special area rate revenue is in there. That's where
Say that again.
the entire special area rate revenue is recorded as revenue in the budget. And that's where the money to balance the water, if necessary, comes out of.
Well, no, it used to, we take money, the special area reserve. Not the actual special area rate taxation part.
If we need to at the end of the year, but there's enough money in the special area rate to cover. That's my understanding.
Right, and that he's dealing with actual, I'm dealing with budget. Two different things. And like Carl said, right, this has to be revenue neutral.
And it is.
It is, and I believe that our auditor is doing it accurately. I have no reason to believe that he's not.
So underneath your your sewer revenues and your water revenues is an actual transfer from reserves to balance those. So whatever included in that, what I put in this report here, the remainder on the expense side that is not covered by these transfer from reserves, offset by the special area rate in the budget.
So for the people that are watching this on your ledgers, H3, water revenue shows 238,655. Page 17, your water expenses show 300,034. It registered with you 2 weeks ago that it has to be revenue neutral.
And it is revenue neutral.
Because the money comes out of the special area rate.
Comes from it comes from user fees, it comes from interest, it comes from, so there's so many variables that it comes from to balance it.
I reserve.
Yeah, so in our water revenue, we have water revenues of 226,000 and transfers from reserve 12,000.
I thought we were here to discuss the budget. Now we're going through all the water reserves and all this stuff again. We've gone through this 100 times. I thought we were here to do the budget.
We are.
yeah, we're here to do veto.
On to the veto.
I think if we want to discuss water and sewage, maybe we should do that at our next water and sewage meeting, or maybe you need to have another sit down with Will to understand the water and sewage. But I'd like to move on personally and finish the last veto. So what would you like the tax rate? Are we comfortable with the 3.5? It sounds like everyone around the table is comfortable with that, Ted? Yeah,
Yes.
so could we please add that? And that would conclude our portion of the
That's all,
budget.
that's all that's on the business for this meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just read the resolution moved by Bill Smith, second by Brian McCarthy. Be it resolved that council for the township of Killaloe, Hagerty and Richards amends the strong budget at a special meeting on March 12th, 2026 as follows. Amend the OCF to $496,032. Amend the CBF gas tax to $84,000. Remove 70,000 fire projects from the budget. Remove 41,000 greater refurbishment. Add back in 100,000 for the station park wall and increase the tax rate back to 3.5%, totaling $33,315.
Questions or discussion? All those in favor? Carried. When would be able to get a new provisional budget?
When staff time to speeches.
When would we like to disclose the budget to the public?
I think we just did.
And I
Oh, but we
do,
need a bylaw. We need a bylaw for the budget. Nice. But I mean,
so I have another resolution first, moved by Maureen McMillan, second by Ted Brown. Be it resolved that the 2026 municipal budget, including all amendments passed by resolution on March 12th, 2026, is hereby deemed adopted in accordance with the legislative timelines established under the strong mayor provisions of the Municipal Act of 2001.
all those in favor?
Once these have been amended into the provisional budget, I can give council a better idea as to when the tax rate bylaw will be ready for the adoption.
Because I need to do all our graphs and stuff like that too, so. That takes time. So I don't think I'd be ready by Tuesday.
Don't have it for Tuesday. I won't have it for Tuesday.
So you have Will coming Tuesday?
Yes, to the financial audited statements.
Yeah, so you guys will have all your actuals, all your descriptions and everything? Like your charts and graphs? To show all the actual dollars spent?
Will have his presentation.
Yeah, but that's just the financial stuff. Like, don't you usually do an actual? Okay.
I think meeting's over, Dave.
Yeah. Motion to adjourn.
First moved by Harold Levine, second by Maureen McMillan, that bylaw number 17, 2026, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the township of Killaloe, Hagerty and Richards at its special meeting on March 12th, 2026, be given its first, second, third reading, and finally passed this 12th day of March, 2026.
All those in favor? Carried.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Moved by Ted Brown, second by Carl Keel, motion to adjourn the special meeting of March 12th, 2026 for the township of Killaloe, Hagerty and Richards.
All those in favor? Carried.